we see the headbangers here is that sunset flip. He should have stopped when he started seeing Hug getting mad like that. Okay, so it's Thrasher with Animal. The other one is Mosh. Okay. Ooh. Okay, have a commercial break here. Um, ooh, I realized I was talking for an hour, but that's good. Hmm. Toward the end of this year, right here, they started doing something that I think was really interesting in the WWE. what what was interesting that what I think was interesting that they did, excuse me, was they had started having Jim Cornette share his opinions on wrestling itself. And anybody that knows anything about Jim Cornette knows he be very opinionated, very I won't even call it outspoken, because if he has a problem with someone, he'll say it behind their face, not behind their back, not to their face. He'll be very opinionated and just really a loudmouth. So he said himself, when he would do these opinion pieces, even though they weren't long enough to do an actual segment, it was long enough to get people to stay on the show. And he said himself that he admitted to criticizing both WCW and the WWE. And that was interesting to me because, no, especially now, knowing from the internet and things I've both heard and read about Vince McMahon, then it makes it even more interesting because we know how much of a control freak he has always been. Not really sure if this was a double count out or Yeah, I think Animal was already in there by the time the 10 count happened. So the referee said it was a double count out. But being that Animal was in there before the count out happened, that's why I don't understand that calling. So they ended it by doing their famous Doomsday device onto Marsh, I believe. Mhm. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Mhm. Hmm. Okay, so just 12 seconds up before the advertisement is over. I believe they just said the next match was supposed to be for the tag team titles. The Harlem Heat against the Giant and Lex Luger. Actually, I glad I was mistaken about that. It was actually a cruiserweight match between Stereo and Juventud Guerrera. That would be that's 5-star match right there. Show a replay of the match. Let's see. There goes first patent hit Huracan Rana. Gets it. Mm. And Mike Tenay had done some comment. He started off in WCW, but not only doing interviews, but um, did a lot of coverage of the AAA stars. So he's the one who said once during one of Rey Mysterio's matches, Junior's matches, excuse me, that they call it a hurricane because it's like a hurricane. I thought that was interesting. Prince Hayake, who had won the title, WCW TV title, excuse me, about a week before this, I believe, and he was going to defend the title again. Actually, he defended the title the night before this against Mysterio Jr. And because Ray Jr. was pulled off the mat, off the ropes, and thrown into the ring by former champion Lord Steven Regal, I believe I believe they ended up giving him another shot at the cruiserweight title. And that's what makes this even more interesting too is seeing how they made the announcement for that championship match rematch. Wow, the Omni was still up in these days at this time. That's how long ago this was. Yeah, they used to do this a lot. They used to have somebody on the phone every now and then on the phone where WCW was on the road. They used to do a segment called On the Road. They would promote 1-800-COLLECT, saying where this person was from and everything. And week after this, I believe they would be in the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia, which I believe has since been torn down. And now everybody in Atlanta goes to the Georgia Dome instead to see events, either in wrestling or in sports. I believe they did tear down the Omni. Pat Tanaka's coming out. Not sure who he's facing. Oh, Prince IK, I remember now. See, WCW World TV title. The last ever WCW TV title they made was my favorite WCW TV title. One of my favorite belts to look at as a kid. And it was the color of the globe is always beautiful, but the gold they used for the championship itself, where the title television was written on it, that I don't know what it was about the gold, but the way they made the gold look was the most beautiful color I'd ever seen. So I always liked looking at it. What's amazing is nobody knows where it's at. When you watch that A&E docu series, WWE Lost Treasures, I believe, or yeah, I think it's Lost Treasures. When they did an episode with Booker T, he was looking for it because that's when the titles that really helped define his career. So because he's synonymous with that title, that's why that's why he agreed to look for it in that episode, and nobody could find it, not even the host of the After Chat, Bill Apter. He couldn't even find it. He didn't even know where to look for it. And another person who's a big bell collector, and he's been in both. He owns a mixed martial arts training gym, and he's actually been involved in wrestling a couple of times. Dan Lambert, he had told Booker T if he had the TV title, he would just give it to him, but he didn't have it, so he couldn't give it to him, and he didn't know where to look for it. So suffice it to say that that's one of the hardest things to find is that last ever TV title. Okay, Prince IK won this match with a flying crossbody, 4-star match. Another one of the few 5-star matches from this Matt from this episode, the Malenko versus Ultimo Dragon. I really don't know what this is for. Oh, we yeah, okay. They had John Michaels give up the title, but a week before this, I believe, because he needed knee surgery. Went through. They covered everything he had done to really show how big of a deal this was, not just to the company but to the fans. I don't know what happened, but by the time WrestleMania came around, he was walking around like everything was fine. So I don't believe at all that it was not. Um, I don't believe at all he was pretending because um, how hard it is to pretend to cry, and the fact that he really can cry easily like that. I don't believe it was pretend at all. I just don't know why. I just don't know what happened with his knee. Why he looked like he was all right when they said he should have had surgery. This was done in Manhattan Center, and Manhattan Center was actually where they spent a year and for Raw's existence in the first year. That's where they spent. I don't know why, but they always held the at least state, so that's why they went there, I believe. Manhattan Center looks like not just a perfect place for how do you say that? Perfect place for a wrestling being, but it looks like they do live theater here also. This was a WWE sanctioned referee. So to show how undisciplined these wrestlers were on screen, because there were literally no rules to follow. Referee's trying to get him into the ring, and I don't think Tommy Dreamer or Devon Dudley here have any had any in their character at least had any concept of getting in there before they were counted out. They were used to a free for all. I guess you call it format, and that's what they were following here to the letter of what it meant to be extreme. Let's see. I think I may have said this before, but this is just my honest opinion. Anytime any match has two people go back and forth like this, it's always going to be a really good match. So I would say that if they would have taken the extreme rules out of this match, this would have been very close to a 5-star just by the little bit that they're doing right here. So it's very much it's back and forth. Hmm. If Tommy Dreamer's arms were not under that chair, then that in itself could have given him about one or two concussions right there. Ooh. Same thing with Devon. If his hand was not in front of his head, he could have had about two concussions too. Mm. Ooh. Mom should have known that was coming. With a woman like that. Bubba Ray came in from the back, and they both hit Tommy Dreamer with the 3D. Sandman comes out with one can beer, and he always sits it in his head. All of this was um, really a waste of WWE's time, or waste of using them on their own network show. They promote right here the European Championship, I believe, being crowned the first time ever. It's going to be in Berlin, Germany, to really help point out that it's a European title. Yeah. So they start promoting that match, and it's going to be in Germany. Don't remember the last time after this they went to a foreign country like that. That's, of course, talking about Japan, and every year they do a European tour. But I don't remember the last time they went to Italy or any place like that. But I would always see them in Great Britain because they would have the British flag. They would always show the British flag either outside of the arena or inside the arena. So that I remember. Show how Psycho Sid won the title the week before this. As a result of Steve Austin hitting Bret Hart with a chair. Okay, so he's looking for Stone Cold here. They show he's asking Vince and other people where he's at. David Show going on the locker room telling the cameraman to get out of there. Out comes. They show the Undertaker confronting Psycho Sid in the ring. They promote that they're going to be facing each other at WrestleMania 13. Stone Cold against Bret Hart. Um, turned out to be the fourth submission match. I brought out Top Edingo to talk to Ken Shamrock. And he asked what he thought of the show. He said, "There's been a lot of action tonight," and he introduced everybody to his wife, Tina. And it was his father. Um, I never really knew what name Mr. Shamrock had, but when he needed a place to stay, Ken and his adopted brother Frank, who at this time looked exactly alike, they both were taken in to Mr. Shamrock's orphanage, and that's how they both became Shamrock. Mhm. Yeah, and they decided to make Ken Shamrock so they decided to make him special guest referee for the submission match at WrestleMania. That was really big also. Mhm. Mhm. So next comes Nation of Domination members. I think the tag team called PG-13, introducing Farouk like they always did. All right. D'Lo Brown just got involved right here, pulling the rope down for the Undertaker to fall over. Now they've got to get back in there before the 10 count. Billy Silverman's doing the refereeing right here. Let's see. So it's into disqualification. Up to that, I remember this match. It was actually a 5-star match. LOD comes in to help out. That's how the show ends. So, as I recall, we got the all that was happening. After Ultimo Dragon and to the Ultimo Dragon and Dean Malenko went against each other, which I believe is a 5-star match in itself. Eric Bischoff. Hey. Okay. Malenko was just disqualified. DP came out to go against Dave Taylor. So the main event match here never happened because NWO and Eric Bischoff interrupted, but it was great that they announced that the main event for the next pay-per-view would be a winner take all match. If NWO won, they can not only kept the titles, not only did they keep the titles, but they got to win. They got to have wrestle anywhere they chose to for the rest of existence as a group. But DDP wasn't even able to pin Squire David Taylor right here. So because it ended, I can't really give it a rating, but I can ranking of a star. But up until it ended, it was a 4-star match. Then agreeing to put up all the titles at the end of Uncensored was even better because it made it interesting. So there you have it. I think WCW not only won the ratings, but I think the entire show was better than WWE Monday Night Raw that night. Thank you. I'd say that okay, there really there's really only 2 or 3 matches on Raw that were worth a ranking, whereas most of the matches on Nitro were good. So I would say that as far as rankings go, the matches they definitely beat Raw because the rankings of the matches were between 4 or 5 stars for every match they had. And I hope y'all like this and hope y'all listen to this as I share this on Twitter and the other parts and the other websites that I'm on. Thank you and goodbye.